But he had so many amazing Jewish qualities. Qualities that I see in my loving wife and my amazing kids that are right over there by Cal.
My old friend, we meet again. We are back together again. What, it's not my fault the algorithm isn't favoring these videos anymore. Go watch them. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I'm here to talk to you about South Park. Or more specifically, Eric Cartman. Now, Cartman in South Park is best known for being the spawn of Satan. No, Kitty, that's Damien. You stopped reviewing South Park for so long that you've forgotten, haven't you? Shut up, Catherine. But the point is, Cartman is somebody who is known for being evil. That's already entertaining, but you know what keeps him balanced? Like a reason people like his characters? Occasionally getting some form of retribution. It makes it awesome to see, and it's always great for a little comeuppance to come his way. At least 19 times it has happened. So, let's discuss. Starting with...
I'm not sneaking out. I'll get in trouble.
Fine, then let go of my hand.
Teacher said I can't let go.
Well, which is it gonna be, Butters? Are you gonna ditch out with me, or are you gonna disobey the teacher's stupid rule?
I'm not letting go.
I guess this one technically isn't true karma per se, but it is pretty awesome to see in spite of everything. The kids are going to one of those reenactment villages, which is already a sucky idea for a field trip. Really, Garrison, this was your idea? But it's gonna get a little suckier for Cartman. Mr. Garrison, for some reason, sets up a buddy system. I don't know why. This place isn't big enough that you'd probably get lost in. At least a museum, I could see it. And it's not like they can leave. But Garrison insists not only do you have to have a buddy, but you must spend the entirety of the field trip holding hands with your buddy. Oh my god, that's even worse. And again, I don't get why. Automatically, he's become my least favorite character. Screw what he does as president, screw what he does as Janet, he's worse here. Of course, Cartman can't find anybody to partner with because they all hate him, which leaves only one person. The one person nobody will partner with because he has no friends.
Who else needs a partner?
Oh my god, that's beautiful. Normally, Cartman's biggest victim is Butters, and Butters just happens to be a rule-abider, meaning that Butters will be holding hands with Cartman during the most boring field trip imaginable all day. And to make matters worse, because Butters does not break the rules, Garrison has ordered Butters to not let go of Cartman no matter what, until they're back on the bus.
Hold Butters' hand, Eric.
That isn't necessary!
Butters, you are not to let go of Eric's hand until you are both back on that bus. Do you understand?
I understand.
Meaning that, yep, it's exactly what it implies. If Cartman has to go to the bathroom, Butters is gonna be right there holding his hand.
You can let go now, Butters.
No.
Butters, come on!
No!
Of course, the reason this is lower is because Cartman does make some fun out of it, but at a major cost. See, Cartman sees Super Fun Time, a major arcade indoor amusement park place just outside the village, which he wants to sneak out and go to. But the problem is, he's with Butters, and Butters hates getting in trouble, which means constant crying.
Then we can say we were inside all along.
You said they wouldn't notice we were gone. You promised.
Oh my god, it's like nails on a chalkboard. But he's also under orders to not let go of Cartman's hand. Cartman does end up having a super fun time, but yeah, Butters is holding his hand for the whole time, and people are thinking he and Butters are little buddies, if you catch my drift.
Aren't you two cute holding hands? Are you special little buddies?
No!
While this is going on, a Die Hard is happening at the reenactment village, and it's taking a long time because the workers refuse to break character. Since Cartman and Butters have no way of knowing that, they have to sneak back in a very embarrassing manner.
I'm gonna fall!
Oh, dude, lame.
Cartman, Butters, don't do that. People are gonna think you can buy drugs from underneath you. I guess this isn't a huge moment, but I do find it kind of list-worthy, and this is one of my underrated episodes. A major theme with this list is even if Cartman gets what's coming to him, he does get what he wants, but at an immense cost. This time, Cartman got just what he wanted. He got to go to Super Fun Time, but at the cost of Butters being there and holding his hand. And since he doesn't know what's going on in the village, he assumes the cops were called for him. Sometimes feeling is enough of a punishment, I believe, if nothing truly happens. Plus, this episode again is underrated. I'm sorry. Please go watch it. It's hilarious.
Teacher, my partner is back on the bus.
We would give you a reward, but I guess that knowing the people of South Park are safe again is reward enough.
Guess again.
All right, here's $100.
Wow!
now.
Cartman is not a psychic, although his visions make me hungry. Cartman is in a grave accident, and as a result of his violent stupidity, why else, he ends up in a coma. And not a cool coma like I'm a little bit country.
What's wrong with him?
I'm afraid that your son is incredibly stupid. The stupidity is so severe that it caused a fall, which has put him into a deep coma.
When he awakens, he supposedly has psychic powers. Or he's stupid. Or psychic powers. My money is on psychic powers. Just for reference, think of this like the episode of Bob's Burgers where Linda becomes a psychic. I would not be surprised if that episode was inspired by this one. Cartman's psychic gifts, and I use that term loosely, are used by the police to capture the left-hand killer. A serial killer whose MO is, you guessed it, he cuts off the left hand of his victims. I mean, I don't know if he like stabs them and then cuts off the left hand or what, but that's what he does. But duh, what would that even mean, left-hand killer? Clearly he cuts off the right hand. As expected, Cartman really has no true psychic powers, just the power to predict coincidences and have visions of food, which both make me hungry and also nauseous at times. I'm weird like that.
I'm afraid the house is a little bit of a disaster area since I had—
Get him! Code 6! Code 6! Go! Take him down! No! Use the taser! Use the taser!
But his actions do endanger various people, like how he accuses an old candy store owner of being the killer just on suspicion, even if he's a nice old man who has absolutely no motive for what he's doing.
Nice old Mr. Johansson runs a candy shop. He isn't a killer and you know it.
Then why did I see ice cream and cookies when I closed my eyes?
Because you're a fucking fat ass, that's why.
Do not doubt my powers, Cap.
You don't have any powers.
He even has a bunch of actual psychics killed on national television just because they want him to join their union and actually contribute. Oh, of course, Cartman would be a scab. However, Cartman's rantings bite him in the butt when he's captured by the real killer and held hostage, and nearly murdered himself. At one point, the police are this close to finding him, but don't.
I see you like cutting the eyes out of photos of women. My son is a big fan of that too.
I guess unlike a lot of examples on this list, it isn't quote-unquote true karma per se. But I like how Cartman almost paid for the harm he did, and nobody really mentions Cartman's credible gift. It's really underrated for me, better the excuse to put it here.
Does this happen often? Does she
Feed the fish.
Filipino hookers don't
Feed the fish.
the way I do.
Now this episode gets a bad reputation for the Kyle torture, and the gross-out. But I'll argue this episode should be remembered for one reason, and one reason only. Jeez, Kitty, you take way too long to get to the point, and this whole section is just adding to it. Would you mind giving me and your viewers your leopard lace bra, Kitty? Because I'm sure we'd at least all want to look our best before you decide to f*** us! Catherine, Oh. This episode came out around the time the iPad first did. For reference, Cartman rubs in everybody's face that he has an iPad and they don't because they're too expensive. But as Craig reveals, Cartman, to nobody's shock, is a lying liar who lies.
Tom Saltzman says you just glued a piece of glass to an iPad cover and you're faking it. Tom Saltzman's dad is an alcoholic who drinks and drives!
I think what makes the conflict this time around so hilarious is that, admittedly, nobody cares but Cartman that Cartman does or doesn't have an iPad. Yes, Kyle has an iPad, but nobody's like, wow, Kyle has an iPad. I think he's awesome and cool. They're like, oh, okay, Kyle has an iPad and the sky is blue. Even at one point, they're all like, at least then Apple can't, like, track me or anything. So this is one of those episodes where Cartman could just stop at any time and experience no loss, but being such a narcissist, he just can't fathom that possibility. Cartman orders Leanne to go to Best Buy with him and buy him an iPad, which is too expensive either. Did payment plans not exist back then? Thank God for Zip and Sizel and Klarna and Afterpay. So Leanne says that while she can't buy him the iPad, she can buy him the Toshiba Handybook, aka the iPad for poor people.
Mom, do not screw me over again! If I take that thing to school, everyone's gonna think I'm a poverty-stricken—
Something Cartman cannot stand for and insists he needs an iPad. He even tells his mother in public,
You might as well go buy some cigarettes too, because I like to have a smoke after I get good.
which leads to Cartman getting humiliated and driven home with no iPad because his mother refused to give in. Good for Leanne, for once standing up to her son and actually doing her damn job as a mom.
If you're really sorry, then you'll understand why you aren't getting anything.
No, that doesn't really have any logical sense, Mommy, because I'm already being punished by not getting the iPad.
But Cartman doesn't use this to reflect. No, instead he tells everybody that's willing to listen that his mother can't say that word on YouTube. Which he of course means metaphorically, but everybody else thinks he means like literally. Like I know at one point he's like, I didn't radio you in trouble.
Then why did you go outside to a police officer and say help, help?
But yeah, I feel like he just means it in general. On top of that, I don't know, Cartman's weird, but I don't think he's doing this on purpose to get an iPad. I just feel like he's really pissed off at his mom throwing a tantrum. But this lands him on Dr. Phil.
Oh, there she is. There's my mom right now. Boo!
Eric, you come home right now!
You know, I've always wondered if Cartman knew the adults misunderstood him, like if he did and just didn't care, or if he intentionally did it. Any option would be in character. Thanks to Dr. Phil, Cartman's mom is made out to be a horrible mother who somehow does not get arrested by CPS. And they believe that Cartman is an innocent child deserving of not just an iPad, but a human-sent iPad, which includes a bunch of anonymous victims, including Kyle and the guy who runs City Sushi. Seems like the best thing ever, right? Well, not for long. Gerald has convinced Steve Jobs to disassemble the human sent iPad, meaning that everybody has left and long forgotten about Cartman, because, no offense dude, you literally kidnapped 3 people, took them away from their lives, and forced them to basically be a machine for eternity. Obviously, Cartman could just go and ask for an iPad, like, besides that, cause like Dr. Phil, what the hey, do you want me to start telling people, or use a story to try to get one again? But Cartman has to insult the one dude you never insult for some reason, God, who we know actually exists in South Park. That's what you get. And for that, Cartman ends up in the hospital with his mother right there, not caring about him in the slightest, and just hanging out. It's a good feeling, and it's 100% what he deserves. Really, Cartman? You should have just taken the Toshiba handy book. Yes, they don't make them anymore, so maybe you had a point, but hey, Apple has payment plans.
Hey, wait up, babe. Hey, where you been, Eric? Oh, boy, what a great time that was.
You know, I could make this entry basically all of him dating Heidi in general, but this one episode in specific is a good, I guess, snapshot of their relationship, and how it was just one endless string of karma for Cartman. But this one, yeah, it really shows how petty he was and why her breaking up with him was the right choice. Now, one thing that annoys people to no end is being forced to wait on someone. I mean, unless your job's like a waiter or a valet, and even then I feel like it'd probably suck. Do you ever wait to do something, like build it up into your head, get all excited, and then you miss out on it or miss out on a huge chunk of it because of somebody else, usually because they take too long to get ready?
Okay, spider or the bat?
The spider's great.
Really? Because I think I like the bat.
Why does she do this every time?
What, babe?
I said it's time, bud. Look at the time.
I'll be honest, I grew up with these types of people, and I know how embarrassing it is. Like, to the point where my extended family had to lie and say that parties or get-togethers were really hours later than they were, because we would always be late without fail. I always got so embarrassed, and I just hated it. And I have ADHD brain, so I will purposefully get ready extremely early, even hours earlier than the deadline, because I know I take forever, and I hate when people have to wait on me, because I'll just feel like a burden. And I don't want to miss out on something exciting, and I don't want them to miss out on something exciting. And also, if I'm at a con, I love hotel breakfast.
Oh, I forgot my glitter lip gloss.
You don't need glitter lip gloss!
Eric, are you upset? Do you need to talk about something?
No, we don't need to talk. I'm super happy.
So I do get Cartman in this episode to some degree, even if I do love the self-inflicted karma he gets. Cartman is dating Heidi, and Heidi is one of those people with piss-poor time management skills, and as a result, has made Cartman late to a lot of things lately. Either they miss the event completely, or they only get there for the tail end of it, and still miss out on all the fun bits.
So, you just getting here?
Yes, we are just getting here.
Petting zoo's closed, and I think they stopped the churro machine.
The petting zoo is closed.
This is getting to Cartman, and therefore his solution is to find a way to get rid of, i.e. murder Heidi, just because she makes him late to stuff. Now, there is a solution that Kyle says here. If it's irritating him that much, break up with her.
You clearly can't stand her. Let the poor girl go. Heidi is a nice girl. How can you be so awful to her?
You don't understand. You don't know because you've never had a girlfriend, cow.
Or, this is me, if Cartman does want to keep dating Heidi, well, be upfront with her. Not like how he is when she's getting ready. Be like afterwards, like, Heidi, that was not cool. Can you please get ready earlier? Say that problem is annoying him and it's kind of hurting their relationship. Or he could lie and say the event is later than it is, that way they'll be on time. Or say, Heidi, if you don't get ready quick enough, next time I'm going to leave without you. He should just communicate with her rather than be snippy and passive aggressive, but no.
You're still mad about the pumpkin patch, aren't you?
Why would I be mad?
You wanted to make sure you looked right, and then you had to eat and use the bathroom 40 times. I can't blame you for missing the pumpkin patch.
Cartman plans on sacrificing Heidi to the witch that's plaguing the town and potentially kill her. Again, just because she makes him late to social events.
Well, well, what have we here?
Sweet, come in.
Then again, as weird as it is to say, I 100% sympathize with him. It's an annoying bad feeling, but he could have found ways around it or just, broke up with her. He's clearly miserable with her, but no. Heidi is freed at the end, but because of Cartman's incessant need for attention and drama, he's stuck with her. And he's stuck being late to events for the time being.
You think I should put a hoodie on over this? Nah, covers up my costume too much, don't you think? Okay, all ready. Oh wait, hang on.
Which is going to be a dreaded cycle, and a prison of his own making that I'm all here for.
Dude, what happened? I felt it, you guys. I felt the angry hands of God. He is an angry God, you guys. We all have to start taking this very seriously.
Why don't people bring up this episode? Cartman got his just desserts. Haha, yeah, just desserts. Holy desserts. For background, in the episode prior, the boys learned about the concept of hell and sinning. This was back before Father Maxie was actually intelligent and knew what he was talking about. So he scares them into going to confessions and doing communion, or thinking that one wrong move and it's hell and hell is forever whether you like it or not. You had a chance to behave better, now you boil in the pot.
Depart from me, ye cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. Yes, as a Jew, your home will be the lake of fire.
Oh no!
The kids try to make it to church to go confess, but Kenny joined, and they discover that Father Maxie does it with other women in the confessional booth. And worse yet, married women. So he's committing double adultery.
Oh, forgive me, Heavenly Father. I've sinned against you.
This guy is so gonna burn.
Mrs. Donovan is a temptress from hell.
So they decide to take religion into their own hands. And probably, they finally done that with Cartman as their reverend, I guess you could say. But Cartman's version of Christianity really isn't anything better. He tells the kids don't go to their old lives like school or playing. You have to spend your entire life trying to get into heaven by praising God.
Don't listen to them, kids. You have to go to school.
Many of you knew Kenny McCormick. He was a playful school-going 8-year-old, and then yesterday, he was smacked down by the Lord.
He just yells at them. And he also becomes super obsessed with raising money for his church in the name of Christ.
Each and every one of you is to walk up to the stage and give me $1. So I want everyone to feel the love of God by coming up here and putting $1 in the box.
So, basically like every priest I've met, I suppose. His actions even cause a dad to be killed.
You're coming home this instant!
We are saving your daughter from the clutches of hell, sir!
You're not going to make my daughter part of your cult!
Your daughter could die tomorrow, and then what?
At one point, Kenny calls him from Mexico, since he wasn't actually killed by the bus, just dragged away, and tells Cartman about Mexico. But Cartman, likely still knowing the context, lies to the congregation and says they need to shape up and give him money, or they will indeed go to hell. And hell is terrible.
Perhaps worst of all, in hell, there are dozens and dozens of little trinket stores, but they all have the same little trinkets in them.
Oh my god, little trinket shops? Is it Seaside Heights, or Atlantic City, or hell? What's the difference? Yeah, that's true. But what's worse? The most worse? Cartman meant none of this. I can get it if he was, legitimately trying to help his friends, but no. He knew it was all a crock of crap, and he still went ahead and did it anyway. All to get paid.
Dude, if God is all understanding, he wouldn't send us to hell. Even Sister Ann told me that. Then why didn't you tell us? My brain is of a much larger size than you guys's. I couldn't expect you to understand, not until you actually saw the cash flow.
Oh, he really knows what it's like to be a priest, I'd argue. Thankfully, Sister Ann, a nun who kept opposing Cartman, gets the idea to get Jesus to tell the kids to go back home. As well, they shouldn't avoid sinning. Well, sinning is inevitable, so just live while you're young and live your life.
God wants you to spend your time helping others and living a good, happy life. That's how you live for Him.
Yes, by doing that and putting $1 in the box.
Yay, they all go home, but Cartman gets extra karma besides losing all of his money and followers.
I'm sending you somewhere to think about your sins.
You're gonna send me to hell?
No, worse.
That is ironic and fitting.
At what cost did our school president get it? Every Smurf is dead. Wiped out, and we will never see them again. Go on, look outside. You won't see any Smurfs.
This is why I won't go into politics besides what I already do in terms of advocacy. Well, then I can't make decisions for myself. Cartman and Wendy Testaberger do not get along at all. But what if Cartman was given an inch of power to use against her? Oh, he would take a yard. And then get publicly humiliated. The ginger kid who normally does the morning announcements gets murdered and there's now an opening. And the only good thing you can say about Cartman this episode is that he's upset that the kid got murdered. Since, remember, he used to run the ginger separatist movement, so he probably did know this kid. But anyways, Cartman auditions to do the morning announcements, even framing another kid who probably deserves the job more than him, just to get the gig, and getting the ACLU on his side.
All we ask is you keep it shorter.
Oh, I will. And maybe I'll also have a word with the ACLU. Tell them that a student is being told not to speak out against his school.
At first, Cartman does as ordered and reads the morning announcements, but slowly, he basically becomes a Fox News anchor, or a podcaster. I guess the former, because this was back then. Nowadays, he'd be a podcaster. That should be a new episode in the season. He goes on long tangents about the supposed politics at school, rather than actually say, like, oh, today we're having, like, hamburgers for lunch. And he blames any and all problems on the student council president, Wendy Testaberger.
And like all of you, I want to know what has happened to my school.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America. Our United States, not the one Wendy Testaberger would have.
Cartman makes it out like Wendy has supreme power and purposefully hoards the school's money for her own nefarious purposes, even if everybody keeps reminding him that the student council, and therefore Wendy, have no real power. And Cartman just doesn't care or doesn't want to care.
You'll stop me from asking just because Wendy forces you to?
Eric, the student body president really doesn't have the kind of power that
Just enough power to force you to stop me from selling my book. Face it, you're a lackey, Mackie.
Now, most people recognize Cartman's BS for what it is. Just straight up general BS, probably stream of consciousness, whatever comes to his head BS. But he does develop a small yet passionate following of fans, among them Butters, who proceed to harass Wendy, especially after Cartman lies and says that Wendy genocided the Smurfs for her own gluttony and greed.
Our school president wants to kill Smurfs.
No!
I don't know if we're turning into a Smurf-hating school or what we're turning into, but unless you ask why, we're gonna transform into something.
What the heck, Cartman? Where do you come up with this crap? Thankfully, he gets what's coming to him. Wendy eventually takes him up on his offer to be interviewed on the morning announcements, and calls his bluff. She admits to genociding the Smurfs and says that if Cartman can do a better job at running the school than her, well, he clearly knows what he's talking about, so he should do it and be the next president.
You were right all along, Cartman, and I am hereby making you the student body president. All right, Cartman's president. We did it.
I'm confused.
And just as Cartman learned, well, he was wrong to bad talk Wendy. He has no real power, and he can't do anything about it.
Not doing the morning announcements anymore? It turns out that by rule, the student body president can't also be the morning announcement reader.
Oh well, at least as president you can run the school the way you want.
I can't do jack!
And nobody cares and will gladly rage at him for it, including his victim from earlier.
And so far, Eric Cartman has done nothing about it. I'm doing the best I can!
Even if this likely means the cycle will continue, but so long as Cartman is stuck in the rent cycle, fine by me.
Guess I'm off to a foster home then. Hawaii is my first choice. It's gonna take me years to recover from being torn from my mother's arms. Only the ocean breezes and coconut trees can help me now.
Cartman is many things, and strangely, one of those things is being poor. The poor kid has Kenny's family's choice of being poor come back to bite them in the ass. Really, Cartman? When the meth lab his parents are running is discovered by the cops, his parents are arrested, and Kenny and his siblings are taken by social services and sent to a foster home in Greeley, Colorado, which somehow is even more backwater, poor, and rural than South Park, and also apparently a real city, so I apologize to any of my viewers from there. That's how the show portrays it. Like, they're all dirty, there's cows everywhere, I'm very sorry. With Kenny gone, Cartman doesn't really care. Honestly, he didn't even care that Kenny's family was getting arrested before his eyes. He just treated it like a fun TV program, like he was recording it and everything.
Poor people being arrested, what a rare occurrence. Hey, Kenny. Kenny, wave. That's Kenny about to be sent to a foster home. Pretty funny.
Jerk, he's your friend. I thought he was your best friend. Actually, no, he wasn't just his best friend. He was his best friend. And with Kenny gone, Cartman's new hobby is finding out who the poorest kid is. That way he can make fun of them.
That's what you care about? Who's the poorest kid in school now?
Pretty much went through everybody. Craig's got the most. Here he comes.
And with a little number crunching, Butters discovers the newest poor kid is Cartman.
We found this out, it's only a matter of time before everybody else does.
Well, I won't tell anybody.
Oh, come on! We're not the only ones who wanted to look into this. You think Kyle isn't on a computer right now trying to see who the poorest kid in school is?
Oh, Lord! He's poor now! He would totally do that. Like, if the episode aired nowadays, he would definitely do that. Okay, so we got regular karma here. That's cool and all. And weirdly, it makes sense, I hate to say, and I'm putting it the best way possible. First off, Cartman's household is the only single-parent dwelling at that point, meaning that Leanne doesn't have as many options when it comes to racking in revenue. Legally, I mean. Plus, as Leanne says, they aren't poor as in they have to go to a soup kitchen every night or sleeping out of their cars. They just make slightly less than most people. Like, obviously, she could not afford an iPad, but the Toshiba Handybook? That's a pretty good deal. But Cartman treats it like he's diseased and tragic. Like he's the little match girl. Or in this case, boy.
My mom is so poor she waves around a popsicle and calls it air conditioning.
Even if, sadly, this is one of those times where, like, nobody cares, which just makes the punishment all the more fitting. Cartman might feel upset and even ashamed that he's poor, but as is, nobody cares that he's poor but him. Nobody ever makes fun of him for it. They're just like, it's not cool to make fun of Kenny now that he's not here. Instead, he's the one who feels embarrassed and possibly even emasculated that he's poor, as in lower middle class, not just normal middle class.
My name is not Kier.
That's cute. Whatever, Cam. Must be nice having everything you want.
Again, what are you crying for? Your friends all eat mac and cheese for dinner and shop at the J-Mart. You ain't the exception. He yearns for a brighter tomorrow.
I wish I could be put in a cool foster home like Kenny's family.
Where have you been? Don't worry, Cartman gets his wish. He calls the police and leaves a false tip that Leanne has a meth lab. He's taken to a foster home, but not in Hawaii like he wanted. How could they afford that?
Hawaii?
Yeah, that's where I requested to be sent.
Your foster home is here. Pretty much the exact opposite of Hawaii.
What? Greeley?
Instead, he's sent to the same boring, agnostic Puritan foster home that Kenny is at. I can't believe those words came out of my mouth. Aw, how awesome! And better yet, since he's not in South Park, nobody knows who he is, and they don't put up with his crap. So he actually gets in trouble for things he wouldn't at home. He gets in trouble with his foster parents for mouthing off.
Ma'am! Dad's being mean to me! Ma'am! Ma'am!
My name is not Meme.
And he gets in trouble with the principal for bullying another kid. Actually, this one I should describe because it's really good karma for me. Cartman is still upset that he and Kenny are the poor kids in school. Really, how do you figure? But Kenny's new friends break the news to him. He's not poor. It's Jacob Hallery. For like super tragic, realistic reasons. Which Cartman does not care about.
His dad died 5 years ago and his mom went crazy from depression, so she can't even keep a job.
Yes! Yeah! Did you hear that, Kenny? We're good!
Christ on a stick, dude, it's getting so much harder to defend you. I mean, it wasn't to begin with. You know, who gives a crap? Thankfully, Cartman tells the social worker that his foster family is abusive, and the social worker is able to send the kids home, rather than to better foster homes, because no offense, those kids are there for a reason.
We've embarrassed the system and made it something nobody wants to be a part of. It's like a Penn State homecoming party!
But Cartman, he's not going home just yet. He gets arrested and humiliated on white trash. In trouble, because lying to the police and saying his mom is a criminal, despite her cleaning her act up, that is still a crime. So he gets sent to prison.
I'm not saying it.
We can do this the easy way or we can do it hard.
I'm not saying it.
Then we'll add another charge for resisting.
Okay, fine. I'm white trash and I'm in trouble.
When he returns, he is happy that they can all get along, since Kenny is there and he won't be poor anymore. Roll of 5 seconds as Kenny is killed by the god of agnosticism, a giant reptilian bird in charge of everything. Sorry, flying spaghetti monster.
My mama's so poor she walks down the road with one shoe. And if you ask her if she lost her shoe, she says, no, I found one.
It's well-deserved, Cartman. So well-deserved. And plus, also, this was the season finale, I think for like season 15. So I like to picture myself that Cartman spent the whole year until Reverse Cowgirl just like crying that he was poor.
Good, now try a command.
Eric, I want you to go upstairs and brush your teeth. Then I'll be up to read you a story before bed.
Now, I had my doubts about including this episode, but many of you said you thought it was a really good karma moment, so I checked it out, and yeah, you know what, it fits. Cartman is the only kid in town who has a single mother, and come the Not For Kids special, the only one with a truly single parent. As a result, Cartman and his mother are close, or more than close. I think it was Blooms in my Leanne video who even defined the two as being victims of emotional incest, which sounds weird, but In one episode, we learn the reason Leanne spoils Cartman rotten is because she herself has no friends and wants to make up for it by turning her son into her friend, which is wrong. The thing is, normally, I hate to use this argument with kids, but Cartman is also responsible for his own actions to a degree, which is why I'm comfy adding it to the list. His behavior has gotten out of control lately, so Mr. Mackey recommends Leanne try a nanny television show. Not a real one. Honestly, Cartman would probably destroy a real one. In each and every nanny, Cartman is able to get rid of through vile methods, and they start running out of shows, like talking one down because she never got married or had kids.
What kind of monster would— Yes, let the anger come. Strike me down while you can. But it won't make your dried up ovaries any more fertile. That's it! I'm not doing this!
Or doing something so screwed up to Super Nanny that she ends up in an insane asylum doing stuff that is unaccessible.
From hell! It's from hell!
Scraping the bottom of the barrel, Leanne ends up contacting Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer, who encourages Leanne to treat Cartman more like an unruly mutt in need of obedience rather than a son. And strangely, it does work, and it's awesome to see. Plus, this is just a me thing, but Caesar is a minority, being Latino and all, and he's the one disciplining Cartman.
He's still aggressive dominant.
Feed the fish.
Taco Bender!
See?
God damn it, you can't stand here and eat KFC in front of me! Now hand it over! You can't do that to me!
We know from episodes like P that Cartman hates Latinos, so as a Latina myself, good for you, Caesar. Yes, the episode is more of a character study on Leanne than Cartman, but after the crap he subjected his mother to, it's really awesome to see Leanne just not give in and be declared a good mother. Like finally feeding him a nutritious dinner and not powdered donut pancake surprise.
Eric, if you don't want to eat, then why don't you just go brush your teeth and go to bed?
No, you're asking him a favor. Don't ask a favor, dominate.
To the point where he actually starts losing weight. We're doing the titular as a way to show that she's in charge now.
Nancy! Mom! Why are you doing this?
I did it!
The changes start to get to Cartman. He's dressing properly, I already mentioned the weight loss, and doing homework, but he hates it every step of the way. He hates all of it. So much so that he wants to kill his mother for it.
You forced me to do this. You couldn't just love me as a son. You just had to humiliate and degrade me with your ruse.
Really, dude? But the treatment actually gives him an honest-to-God mental breakdown, complete with vomiting, as he realizes maybe these changes are for a reason.
She isn't an object you can own, she's a human being. Ow! Ow! She's making you suffer! Maybe all these changes are good for me.
Again, it really sucks that Leanne just had to regress, because not only did Cartman get karma here, but there was a big chance the karma was going to stick. He was actually eating a really healthy breakfast unprompted and doing chores unprompted, and Leanne had to ruin it when Caesar wouldn't go out with her for honestly justified reasons, because she's a client and in real life he has a family.
Well, you told me I had to review my homework before class started.
Oh, Eric, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Really, the only time on this list towards Leanne, I'm like, I'm not mad, girl. Just disappointed.
Here we are at the old gas station. It survived a lot of the impact. We might be safe here. Oh my god! What? It's a cannibal!
I need to go to Casa Bonita in Denver so badly. I want to film a vlog there. I don't care that Johnny Chuchelos has done it. I like his vlog, but I want to do one of my own. It's on my bucket list. Plus, I want to do one where I talk about the episode Casa Bonita at Casa Bonita. Fingers crossed I get to go there one day. Cartman's favorite restaurant in the whole wide world is Casa Bonita, the self-professed Chuck E. Cheese of Mexican restaurants.
What's Casa Bonita? Dude, haven't you ever been there? It's a big Mexican restaurant, but they have like cliff jumpers and Black Bart's Cave and all kinds of stuff.
He doesn't get many opportunities to go, but when he does, he holds them close to his chest. Kyle's birthday is coming up, and his mom is taking him and a few friends, which doesn't include Cartman, for obvious reasons. One, there's likely a limit to how many people Sheila can afford to take, or even just have in her car, and Cartman really hasn't done anything to prove he sees Kyle as a friend. Kyle is well within his rights to refuse to take Cartman.
Your mom said you could take 3 friends.
Yes, 3 friends. You're not my friend.
Plus, they never say why Leanne can't just take Cartman herself, whenever. Because the episode never points out that's an option. Or says if it's something like his mom can't afford to take him except for, his birthday or something like that. But then again, Cartman is so one-track-minded, I can see him not realizing that's an option. Or acknowledging it. While his friends can go, he can go with his mom at the same time. Or just go another day. Cartman is upset he can't go, and worst yet, Butters is going to take his place. Which I need to hand it to the episode. The premise off the bat is already karmatic in and of itself. Cartman's dream hangout spot, and he can't go. Cartman does try whatever to flatter Kyle in order to be allowed to go, even beating Jimmy up in his honor, but Kyle isn't swayed since he knows Cartman isn't genuine about it. He's not being nice, he's just wearing a nice sweater. And after he gets what he wants, he's gonna go right back to picking on him and treating him like dirt. At best, Kyle does say that if for whatever reason Butters can't go, well, Cartman can take his place.
If for some reason Butters can't go to Casa Bonita, you can take his place.
Sweet, whatever. Bingo.
Oh, Kyle, I'm sorry. You just sabotaged your birthday, sweetie. Cartman is able to get Butters to avoid going by lying to him and saying the apocalypse is coming because of a giant meteor. And if Butters doesn't get into a storm shelter like now, he is gonna die.
But what about everyone else? I have to tell my parents so they can come here too.
No, Butters! I can't let you risk it. I'll go up and get the others.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure of anything anymore.
Oh my god, poor Butters. As expected, Butters doesn't show up to Kyle's house for the meetup. Cartman is excited to take his place, but karma comes a-knockin'. Literally, in this case. Linda and Steve and Chris tell Sheila and the boys that Butters is missing, and since Kyle is a decent yet hypocritical person, he decides to postpone his birthday by a week in order to help rescue Butters.
We can postpone Casa Bonita until next Saturday.
Next Saturday? I'll never be able to keep Butters down in the depths of my heart for that long.
Hey, you chose to do this! You could have just asked your mom, but no. To avoid getting caught, especially after the police say they're going to start searching bomb shelters, Cartman sneaks Butters around town and pulls a Punky Brewster by locking him in an old refrigerator.
Eric, you're the best friend in the whole world. I love you.
I love you too, man.
He was willing to let Butters die so he can go to Casa Bonita. Whenever I watch this episode, I like to ask myself, or Cartman, what was his plan after this? Was he hoping Butters did not blab to the cops? Was he hoping that Butters would just forget because he should know Butters and he should know Butters is gonna tell people? Really, Cartman, I think your plan suffered from not thinking in the long term. But with Butters still gone, Casa Bonita cannot wait any longer and Cartman gets to go. And we see that Kyle made the right choice not to initially invite Cartman since Cartman tries taking over, despite it being Kyle's birthday party. And not in a, I've been here before, so let me show you the ropes and explain what each thing is, because I know you might like it.
Dude, it's Kyle's birthday. We should do whatever he wants to do. What? Kyle. Haha. Just kidding. Birthday joke.
When they get right to the entrance, like by the skin of their teeth, like it's right there if you just reach out, Sheila gets a call confirming that the police found Butters and Cartman kidnapped him, meaning the police are on their way to arrest Cartman, and rightfully so for causing a town panic, all because he could not go to one specific restaurant. I mean, I love McDonald's, doesn't mean I'm gonna murder over it.
But stand back! Cartman, stop it. I am going to Casa Bonita!
Cartman finds out the police are on their way, but rather than give up, he experiences Casa Bonita, while his friends, Sheila, and the cops chase him down. He speedruns it at the cost of spending the night in jail.
Well, kid, you made an entire town panic, you lost all your friends, and now you're going to juvenile hall for a week. Was it worth it?
Totally.
At least he got what he wanted, at a major cost, and a cost of panic. Kinda reminds me of the Telltale Heart, but if there actually was a chance the dude would get caught.
Don't you think it's a little strange that Cartman keeps asking you to stay over?
Kyle? What he means is that he's jealous that you've taken his place as my new best friend. But grow up, Kyle. Change is a part of life.
Between you and me, I can't think of a good intro, so we're gonna dive right in. Lately, Cartman has been inviting Butters over to sleepovers, not to spend time with his friend, no. The idea that Cartman considers Butters a friend is painfully naive. He instead invites him over in order to knock him out with NyQuil, "Are you not dead yet, Butters?" And then take embarrassing pictures of him in compromising positions, like an embarrassing snapshot like SpongeBob at the Christmas party! Cartman's latest masterpiece is one where he makes it look like Butters is feeding the fish with his own mouth while he's asleep. Okay, ignoring the obvious portrayal of SA for a minute, which gives me questions about Cartman, because chances are if a kid does it, it's a whole can of worms. But the episode does ignore it, so we're going to ignore it. This presents another problem. Cartman, as we all know, is a raging homophobe early on. He got better in Tweak X Craig! Catherine, we're not talking about Tweak X Craig. Well, Cartman took the photo so he could lie and say that Butters is gay. You know, so he can have further blackmail against him. Which doesn't work because, as the other boys point out, Butters was asleep, plus Butters does have girlfriends, so yeah. And Cartman was the one doing it, meaning if anybody will be accused and humiliated, it's gonna be Cartman. Did not think this one through, did you? The boys further screw with him by saying that if what Cartman did in the photo was reversed, well, Cartman is home free. You're so stupid, Cartman. Cartman tries this, but Steve and Chris catches Butters and sends him to a conversion camp. Long story and plotline, go watch the episode. While Butters Garrus is off dealing with the wonders of a Pray the Gay away camp, Cartman is stuck at home and dealing with his own mistakes, since he lost the picture he took of him and Butters.
Give it back, Kyle. I don't have it. Shut up. You shut up! You're lying, and you two are covering up for him!
Oh my god, why did you have it developed, you idiot? And he automatically assumes Kyle took it with no real evidence.
Ow! Ow!
I think Cartman's biggest mistake here, besides mental gymnastics, is assuming that everybody thinks like he does. Since if the positions were reversed, he would 100% do that to Kyle. But dude, just clean out your room! Trust me, I experience this all the time. I think the thing is lost forever and it's really under the bed. But Cartman cannot abide by this and decides to get the picture back by lying to Leanne and saying it wasn't assault, it was a complete and total accident.
There, sweetie, it'll be okay. These things happen.
Right, and I'm a furry. Leanne can't get the photo back from Sheila and Kyle because Kyle doesn't actually have it because Kyle did not take it, and Cartman cannot stand for this.
She talked with her son and says he doesn't have it.
Mom, she's lying!
She said she was sure, Eric.
At show and tell, he will show the photo in front of everybody before Kyle has a chance to.
Guess you think today's your big day, huh, Kyle? To embarrass me in front of everyone? Well, guess what? I'm not giving you the satisfaction.
What is your thought process, dude? You didn't want to be labeled gay, but won't everybody and their mother now think so? Even if you do try to frame it as a political statement? Back then especially, wouldn't this be a political statement? Like, even Garrison is upset, and rightfully so.
Eric, what the hell is this?
What this is a statement against the war in Iraq. It's wrong that we still have our troops there. It's wrong!
Cartman had only made something super illegal. He distributed it to a bunch of minors. Ew. Don't worry, it gets worse. For Cartman, not overall. Overall, it gets kind of better.
Emergency message from your mother? Do not show picture. Kyle didn't have it after all. Found it under your desk.
Cartman, you're such an idiot.